guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shaniva Nicole. If you're new, if you're a returning subscriber, hey child, if you new, girl, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. What you doing? Join the team, join the family. Girl or boy, you ready to take your state board test? And I got all the answers for you. Not the exact answers, but I got the answers for you. I took my state board test in May 4th, 2024. And I was nervous as crap. But I passed on my first try. So I'm one of them people who don't test well, but when I was in beauty school, I passed all my tests with flying colors, which is just like, I was sitting there like, this is easy as crap because I don't test well, but I was able to pass some tests with flying colors. So I'm gonna tell y'all what I did. I use multiple different methods on studying just because it's hard for me to take in knowledge sometimes because I just be feeling like it's too much at one time. My brain get overwhelmed, I start getting irritated, and it's just too much. So, first thing I did was order me this pack of cards from Amazon. It's 800 little cards, like little cards like this. They had like little rings. So what I did was, I don't think I got my ones that I had wrote on right here, do I? Because I ended up giving some of mine away to people at school, which that was being nice, but yeah. So I have these ones, which is, I believe it's Design Principles. Yeah, it's Design Principles. Oh, before I even get into that, I went to Empire Beauty School in Shellham in Philadelphia. So other states have different requirements when it comes to the state board test. My state, we do not have to do a practical, we just have to do a written test, which I thank the Lord for that because that would have stressed me out because the practical test is way more harder to do because we had to, in my school they had us do practical tests and practice for the actual state board test, but it's just like my school didn't go how it would be if you took the test. Like it's a little more, you gotta have a bag for this, have this many this or that, you gotta curl it the right way, they gonna tap you before you gotta go. Like it wasn't like that, thank the Lord. But this is some of my cards for Design Principles, and it has like, I will write the main word like medium press, off base, silk press, shaping, full stem, half stem, base, face shaping, you know, locks, like symmetry, asymmetry, soft press, like, you know, stuff like that. And then I will write on the back what it is. Like this one is back combing, also known as interlocking, matting, or roughing. See, this is what I did. So I took my book that I had got from school, which is, I know the books changed because I've seen some other person on YouTube who went to Empire and her book was yellow. And at my school, some of the teachers had yellow books, but when I went I started school in 2023. The books were different, like, cause they changed for each like class for real, because the people behind me, they had different stuff than I even had, which they had a better kit to me personally. But this is how my book looked. It's black. It has a black woman with a Caucasian woman, and I think this is a Hispanic woman, I don't know, or another Caucasian woman, and it's split like that. I know there's one, there's a man on the screen on here, and my other book that I had got, which was my book for it, was a student styling book, and it looks like this with this man, and he got some regular hair straight, which is a Caucasian man, then it's a black man with you know, extensions, lock hair. So what I did was I went into this book, and I'm gonna go to Design Principles just because that's the cards that I showed. When I went to school, we started in Design Principles because, you know, when you come, if you go to Empire, I don't know if you know, if you go to Empire, every time you come, there's different units and different sections of it, and it just rotates. So when I came in, it was Design Principles. So what I did was I went through each section of this book, and I looked for the safety and disinfectant rules, because most of the safety and disinfectant rules is the exact same thing. So I wrote them down on a color card. If it depends on if the section has something different, I will give it a different card, but they're basically all the same thing, you know, disinfectant method 1, 2, and you know. So I would put that on a card. I will make sure all of them was the same thing. If it wasn't, just add for a new card. The history, now this is something that I didn't think matter because when in school we kind of went over, but not that much. Some of these dates, try to remember them because it was on my state board test. It was a question, it was like about a man who invented the Marcel curlers. So remember his name, because I can't think of his name right now, but look it up. The man who invented the Marcel curlers. That was a question on my state board test, which I didn't even understand why, because I don't even remember learning that at school. You know, sanitation, the wet sanitation, sterilizing, sanitation, sterilizing, disinfectants, and all that. Then I started writing down in this book. Dang! In this book, there is black words here, and there's blue words that's in these different sections. Like, in school, we kind of focus on some of the blue words more than the black words. But the black words is important, but the black words is kind of like, let me say this. The black words is mostly words that I feel like are very common for everyone to know already. And then the blue words are the terms that is like the most important to kind of know. But don't skip out on the black words. I don't know why people skip out on them, but don't skip out on them. So that's like, you look at, I don't know if you can see that blue word. See how it's blue? You want to take that and write on your note card. I personally don't write the full definition just because I don't feel like that's helping me, because I can just read it and I just read it. It's the same thing. I would take the word facial shape and put also known as. If it has also known as, make sure you remember that word, because sometimes they'll just put the other word and not the term. The technical term, they'll put the other term. So I'll put also known hair, like the name, and put also known, or aka the other word. I will basically put it in my own words in the back, like something that I'm going to remember. Like, it's still a definition, but I'm putting it in simpler terms in the definition to where I can understand it, but it's also the term. Some people just will write the whole thing to where it's not what it says in the definition. No, I'm gonna understand it, read it, see what I think is very important, and then put it in the back. That's how I did my note card. The back of the book has all the different. Oh, I just ripped my book. In the back of the book, it has all the definitions back here. You could just write from the back of the book, but I went through the sections just to read them. Then I went to the back of the book. I just took my note cards, wrote all of them in the back of the book, and then I read the section. That's how I did it, for real, when I went through the book. And when you're in school, I feel like I suggest when you're in school and you're going through your different mods, make note cards during your mods. I wasn't doing it. I was just studying, writing it down in my own words in my this little book they gave us, and then I would do Kahoot to quiz myself before the quiz or the test that we had in school. I feel like it would have been smart if I would have made the note cards during the mods, because then I would have to do it rushing when I got to the salon floor, scrambling to remember everything that I had learned months ago. So that's a little tip. Then I suggest using this book. I didn't use this book unless I was in school, but I know some people, this helped them when they took their test. So this book has like little worksheets so you can quiz yourself. So my handwriting is horrible, but you know, it's got like different things so you can test yourself and you can write. And every time you finish a chapter, it got a little half of the certificate right there. It's just like a little accomplishment. In school, we had a little practice test, and we would do these, and we had to, you know, circle them. Yeah, so this is helpful for if you want to like do your terms and you want to quiz yourself. Personally, this didn't help me, but I know this do help some people. Like, it's just some sections that was harder for me, like chemical texturizing is my worst subject, but I know that on a state board test, chemical texturizing, design principles, and skincare is the hardest words to learn. Actually, no, not design principles, but skincare and chemical texturizing are the hardest words to learn. They're the biggest words. They're the words that don't make no sense. Oh, and nails. But nails was easy for me for some weird reason, and I don't know how, but I always passed. I passed them tests with flying colors. But skincare and chemical texturizing, my worst enemy, and that's still kind of my worst enemy to an extent. But hair coloring, hair cutting, all that was easy. So once you finish these note cards and you know what subject is hard for you to remember, study the ones you know, put them to the side, and focus on the ones you don't know, and then brush up on the other ones. I feel like take at least an hour a day to study. That's what I was doing. Like an hour or 2 hours, depending on if I had the interview at the school. I would do 2 hours of studying. I would go over the notes that I already wrote, or I would write these, which I wish I already had wrote them. I would have to do it, but I would write these then I would just go over my textbook stuff and then get ready for the test or something that I had at the time, because we still had tests in school until I got to the completely done all the tests and I just was focused on my state board tests. Now, I also studied with Kahoot. Now, a lot of teachers told me not to study with Kahoot. That's what they said in school, because Kahoot is basically anybody could write something on Kahoot and it could be totally wrong. But when I was studying with Kahoot plus the textbook in school, I was getting my test correct. So I just didn't understand why they said that. But I get it, because people was relying on Kahoot to give them the answers for the test. And state board test is not like how it is. How you take your test and you take your mod test at the end of your mod is not the same as what the state board test gonna look like. It looks completely different. The words is written completely different. It asks you stuff like, if a licensee got a cut on their finger, what are they supposed to wrap it with? And but see how I wrote that and it makes sense. You would say like wash it and put a band-aid and disinfect your fingers and all that. No, the way they write it, you're just gonna be like, huh? And all I would say is just reread. That's all you gotta do. Just reread. Don't panic. Don't look at the little clock that's gonna be in. It's a little clock in the corner of the computer. Don't panic. Don't panic, because it does change. Like it goes like this, like a flash when it's counting down. Don't pay that no mind. And you really gotta focus on the first 15 questions, which I constantly kept asking people, where's the first 15? Where's the first 15? Because I don't know where to study from. There is nowhere to study it from, and that's what I found out, because I was confused on why people kept saying study for it, but they wasn't telling me where to study for it at. So then it made no sense. But the first 15 questions is kind of crazy, because when I took my first 15, they said you had to get them all right, but I think that it has to be a certain amount of them that you have to get right, because I didn't answer one and I was scared and my computer went black. And once your computer go black and it don't come back on, baby, your test is over. But I went to the test, so I was confused, but I think I had more than 15 during my test or something. I don't know. But when it comes to the state board test, it's so weird, because there'll be questions that will be like, 2 of them possibly could be the answer, and then the other 2 just doesn't make any sense at all. Like, okay, I got one because I screenshot one. It says eyelashes and eyebrows or blank hair. You gonna be like, huh? The answer is primary term, which primary something, which makes no sense, because it's just like, what are we even talking about? Like, what is we talking about right now? When it comes to nails, you just need to remember, like, when you quiz yourself with them cards, I'm telling you, put it into a term you gonna understand, because the terms in these books makes no sense. Like stuff like ani chopegi, that means that your nails is like short and you chop them, like you bite them. Think of it like chop, bite. Brittle, the other term I forget, is ani chop. No, ani something, and it means brittle. Like, you just gotta think about like short ways to remember the words so that they're long, to where you can remember the term in like a way that makes sense. So I have 2 apps that I also was using besides Kahoots, and I was using Quizlet, but Quizlet I didn't like it. People said they use Quizlet, I didn't enjoy using that. But it's these 2 apps. It's one right here called Cosmetology, and this other one called Cos Prep, and it helped. But it was the same questions, and I didn't pay for it. I wasn't just paying for it, because you would just go over the questions they asked you and then go back to the other ways you were studying. And then I used these other websites that my teacher had gave me, which was, you will Google PA State Board Cosmetology Practice Test, and it's gonna give you a test. It asks you like some years, like these dates and stuff. Like, you'd be like, what the heck, this wasn't in our test book. You want to practice some dates, because that's first 15 got some random like year stuff in here, and then like they'll ask you stuff like, if you have a towel, and you need to put it away, do you put it in a basket that's open, do you put it in a basket that's closed, do you put it on the floor, or do you just hold it in your hand while you do your clients here? Like, they ask you dumb stuff like that. You obviously know you don't keep it in your hand. You obviously know you don't put it on the floor. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then it's these other websites one's called test.com. One is called finallywhatyouneed.com. I think that's the one that I was using the most. The first 2 that's on this list, I really didn't use them, but it looks like this. You can screenshot that right there. And that will help you, because I'm serious, because with all that stuff you're doing, it's all jammed into here. And I would say The thing is to pray to God to help you put this knowledge in your brain. Because when I was sitting there doing the first 15, I had to pee because I was drinking water. You can have the one I was in, I can have my water in there, but I know some places say you can't have water in there, but I can have water in the one I was in. I went to the one that's on Allegheny. Yeah. So I was in there drinking water. I started panicking. I ran out the room to go pee because I had to go so bad. And like the bathrooms was not up to par, but I just ran to the bathroom, came back because I wasted some time on my clock because I couldn't stop the test. And I passed, which I was so shocked because when I was doing the test, I just felt like I didn't know nothing. But I would say, you know an answer, go with your gut. You read it, you go over it. Don't read something one time and click it. Go over multiple times, read it. Then you will just, if you don't know it and you panicking, skip it. Go to the next one. Don't know it, skip it. Go to the next one. Just skip, because by the time you get to the end, you can just go back over the ones that you didn't know. Because by the time when I was done my test, I still had 40 minutes left. During the test, because it's like, I think you got like an hour 25, I think, to take your test. Hour and 25 minutes. I believe so. Because I still had 40 minutes. I know that for a fact. And I just was sitting like, dang, I don't know if I knew this. But I did, but it just was like, the way they put the terms, I was kind of second guessing myself. But I kind of still went with my gut. I don't know what my score was, because if you pass your test, they don't tell you your score. But if you fail, they will tell you you only need 75 questions to pass your test. That's all you need. 75 is not hard, because if you're in cosmetology school and you're passing your test, you're getting hundreds and 80s and 90s. It's not that hard to get 75. It's not that hard to get 75, right? Out of, well, how many questions it was? 100, 115. But out of all them questions, you can't get 75. You gonna get 75, trust me. Just pray, study, you got it. If you go over your textbook like I told you to, go to them back, write them words down, put in your own terminology, but still the terminology to an extent, don't go fall off the wall on what you want to say what it is. You write that stuff down, you go over your textbooks, you do your little course book, textbook work, you pay attention in school, you will study with friends, because you just have them like quiz you, like say you ask them what's a no stem curl. No, they ask you no stem curl, and then you just read up the definition. Like, they'll read like this, and then you answer. Like, I was doing that with people. Like, polishing. What is polishing? What is sculpting curls? What's push waves? What's skip waves? What's bridge waves? Like, and then like someone would ask me that, I would tell them what it is. Look, once you pass that state board, baby, you could do whatever you want to do. You can let it all go out your head, or you can get more knowledge. It's up to you. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope that helped. If you have any more questions about the state board test in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, let me know. More help, or you want me to help you, check my links down below. I'm gonna put all the websites. I'm gonna also put my social media. You can DM me, I will answer. You can hit me up if you got some questions. And so I'm gonna tell you, I ain't gonna hold the sauce. Everybody need to pass that test. Everybody need their money. Everybody need their bread. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that button, and make sure you share to all your friends and your family, your auntie, your grandma, and your cousins. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. High volume. Am I really down?